Hi there and welcome to North London TV. I'm Steve, this is Roseanne.
So North London TV is a lifestyle programme where we show you the best bits of North London. Steve and I were both born, grew up and now have our own families in North London. It's a great place to be.
So this week's big interview is with Steve Gale. We went along to Barratt Homes' new site in Mill Hill to meet with him and discuss Help to Buy. Then I'm going to be talking about investments, and then we're off to the beautiful Camdens Drive estate, and then finally we'll get our market update, which is all about Hemden this week.
This week's big interview, Steve went off to speak to Steve Gale about Help to Buy.
Hi guys, today we're at Barratt's new development in Mill Hill. It's called Ridgeway Views, and I'm with Steve, who's an expert in Help to Buy, and he's going to talk us through a little bit more about them. So firstly, just tell us a little bit about the Help to Buy.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Well, the Help to Buy scheme is a government initiative. It was set up in 2013 initially, and it's there to sort of encourage people into home ownership.
Fine. So just so I know, what type of people, who's eligible for it?
Sure. Well, the key thing is anybody that has either never owned a property before. So first-time buyers, that's the key target that the government are looking at. And secondly, anyone who owns property maybe at the moment and is looking to sell that property and move on.
So you can actually you can have bought before. So that's something I never knew.
That absolutely, it's a common misconception that the Help to Buy scheme is purely for first-time buyers. It does have a rule that it must be the only home you own at completion. So you must be selling the home that you currently live in, and you can't own any other property anywhere else.
And do you need to be? It was always a misconception, maybe, that you needed to be a key worker, so you needed to be a doctor, a nurse, or a police officer.
No, this particular scheme that the government set up has fairly limited rules to it as far as there aren't income limits, minimum or maximums, no bedroom rules, anything like that. So yeah, it's quite relaxed.
And is there a, everyone talks about you've put 5% down. Is that a minimum? What if you've got more? Can you put more down, or how does it work?
Very much so, yes. The minimum is 5%. 5% of the purchase price is exactly what you must at least be putting that down. But you are able to put more in. A lot of the clients we deal with do put more in. So yeah, it is certainly possible.
And are people restricted to timing? So do you have to live somewhere for a limited amount of time, or?
No, there's no geographical rules on it. You don't have to live in a certain area. You don't have to live in the property for a specific amount of time either. No rules like that.
And in regards to when you sell it, how does that? Do you have to give the government back money, or how does it work?
Sure. So the scheme it's a shared equity scheme. Is the key thing to understand with it. So part of the money is lent by the government. It's up to 40% in the North London area.
Okay.
So in that respect, when you come to sell the property, it needs to be valued again. And it's the key thing to understand with Help to Buy. It's the time. It's when you come to sell the property.
Yeah.
The property needs to be revalued on what the property is determined it's worth at that time. It's 40% of that figure that you'll pay back to the government.
Okay. What happens if the property has lost value?
That's a good question. If the property reduces or it's deemed to be worth less than you originally paid for the property, you pay the government back less. It is very fair. It works in both ways.
And say, for example, you've borrowed X amount. Do you have to then sell through a government-approved estate agent, or can you sell through anyone and then you sort out what you and the government have borrowed from them?
That's a good question. Yeah, there are no limitations when you come to sell the property. You can sell it pretty much through you want to. The key requirement is that you must have what they call a RICS approved valuation on the property.
Right. So what you need to do, I'm guessing, is you'd probably be best when you do go to sell it to get your survey sorted first, work out exactly where you are money-wise, and then go and sell it.
Absolutely, yeah. You would normally need to go onto the Homes England website, and there's a department there that will talk you through. There's a pack they can send you as to the actual process in repaying the loan or selling the property.
So just checking back, there's no limitations. You don't have to earn a certain amount. It's really open for everyone.
Yeah, you have to fit an affordability model.
Yeah.
So brokers like Talk24, when we're qualifying, looking at people's affordability, the government have a spreadsheet that we use to check the person's affordability.
Okay.
So whilst there are no minimums or maximums, it still needs to be deemed to be affordable to the person.
Fine. So I think, looking at many people who talk about new builds, they think, I couldn't afford that. But actually, reality is probably there's a lot more people who could afford this than they realise.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I know from, talking to a lot of mortgage brokers, I know you're a specialist in this.
Yeah.
So obviously anyone watching, it's definitely worth getting in touch. For our point, we look after Barratt London stuff in all over. So we've got about 16 sites we sell. So if you're looking to buy, come and talk to me, but probably speak to you first and understand exactly what you can afford.
What your affordability is, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, some people will be very surprised that they can afford perhaps more with a government loan being up to 40% and the client only needing 5%. At least,
that's incredible.
55% they need to mortgage, and it does surprise people sometimes.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if when we start putting this out to people, we don't find a lot of people turn around and go, wow, I was never aware of that. And probably people who could never have dreamed of living, you look at where we are now in the show home, it's beautiful. Absolutely. And people just probably didn't realise they could do that. And I think the more we can get out there to people that this is a potential for them, I think the more transaction will be happening, because it's fantastic. And I live in a new build, and it's great. The best part about it is when 2 years on you've got a few issues, they can still come around.
Absolutely, get your guarantees. Absolutely,
exactly,
and efficient properties as well.
Yeah,
the new build is certainly much more efficient.
Tell me, what's the difference between help to buy and shared ownership?
Okay, shared ownership is quite different to help to buy. Shared ownership, you're looking to purchase part of a property.
Right.
So it ranges between 25% and 75% of the property. That's the bit you're buying.
Okay.
The bit you're not buying, you pay rent on straight away.
Right, okay.
Help to buy, you're owning the property, although you have got an extra loan from a different person, i.e. the government in this case, and you don't actually pay anything back on that loan for the first 5 years. So it's interest-free for the first 5 years.
And what happens if you sell after 5 years?
It's all done on the future value. As I mentioned earlier, that the future value of the property is where you pay the government back. So
the government are hoping to make their money on property prices rising?
Yeah, I guess you'd.
Yeah. Well, over the course of the last 20 years, property prices always rise. They may have their ups and downs, but
peaks and troughs.
Historically, they'll always end up.
Absolutely. So after 5 years, an interest payment will kick in. It's at 1.75%, and that will the interest rate gradually increases over the years. But it's just interest that you pay back, and the capital is repaid once the property is revalued and decided then.
Perfect, lovely.
So,
Steve, thanks very much.
No problem, sir.
Great advice there from Steve Gale. So tell me, Steve, did you forget his name when you were interviewing him?
What was his name?
Steve?
It's very confusing, all these Steves.
Anyway, next up, we're into our property advice piece, and this week Steve's going to be talking about investments.
As someone who's in the property industry, I'm constantly being asked by people, do you have a great investment? I've got a little bit of spare cash, I've got some money, I want to buy something, I want an investment. And it's a question that I get asked everywhere I go. And the reality is, the question needs to be the other way around, is what actually is it you're looking for? Are you looking to make some money on a turn? Are you looking for a long-term investment? Are you looking for a short-term investment? And I think if you start thinking, rather than asking me what I've got for you, you need to understand exactly what you're after. If you're looking for a long-term investment, you're looking for yield. You're looking for something which brings you in income month in, month out, which slowly appreciates, but in 10, 15 years, looks like a great investment. Some people are looking for something they can buy and do up. They're not easy to find anymore. And the biggest issue with those is if you're buying something cheap, it means someone else is being sold something cheap, which isn't our job as agents. Our job's to get as much money as possible. So those are really hard to find, and they normally come from distressed sales or people with issues. Then the other one is obviously something where people buy something and add value. So that's a medium-term investment where you buy something, maybe keep it for 3 or 4 years, the property appreciates, you add a side extension. So there are so many options. So rather than asking your estate agent, what do you have? I think the first question you need to be asking yourself is, what is it I'm looking for and why am I investing my money?
So some great general advice there if you've got some extra cash flow and you're thinking of investing in some property.
Right, off now to our next piece. And I went to Camdens Drive in Edgware to meet Sharon, who's one of the people that look after the lake there, which really is beautiful.
today I'm on the beautiful Camdens Drive estate with Sharon to find out a little bit more about the estate. So tell me a little bit about the Camdens Drive estate, exactly where we are and what it consists of.
Right, so we're on the outer edges, we're sort of on the borders of Edgware and Stanmore, and also on the borders of Harrow and Barnet. Okay. So the estate is tucked away behind two white pillars as you enter the estate, just off Stone Grove in Edgware, and really very few people know it's here.
Yeah, we call it Edgware's little secret.
It's true, and so is the park at the end of it, which was all part of the original estate.
Can you tell me a little bit about the lake and this part of the development?
Well, the lake was created about 300 years ago by the Duke of Chandos, who owned a huge mansion just north of us. He set out these beautiful gardens and the lake, which is now private. So the only people that can come round the lake are members of the association that runs the Camdens Park
Okay,
estate.
and how would you become a member? So can anyone, or is it only people who live here?
You have to have a house here,
Okay.
or a flat, and you pay your membership to the Residents Association, and then you get a key to the lake. And there's two entrances to the lake, and so you can go all the way around. Takes about 40 minutes to walk round.
Okay, lovely. And how many houses or flats are there in total that are members?
There are 320 houses, and there's a block of about 66 flats.
Okay, lovely. It's not too many people.
No, it's
Okay.
very quiet around here.
So can anyone come down here, or is it just members?
Oh, I mean, the whole estate is open to the public. A lot of people use it as a cut through from Stone Grove to Whitchurch Lane, or to Howbury Road, or to Stanmore Station even. And there's a duck pond on the way that a lot of people stop and feed the ducks and just sort of take in the lovely area that's around them, have a look around. But as I say, the lake itself is private, so
Okay.
occasionally we open it for bird watching groups to walk round, which are run by the Friends of Camdens Park.
Okay, lovely. So the only way to get involved here is to buy a house here.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how long have you lived on the estate, Sharon?
We've been here 34 years now.
And what attracted you to the estate and to the area originally?
I think just the peace and the tranquility, the lovely surroundings, the fact that we had access to the lake, the lovely duck pond along Camdens Drive, and the transport links, which are very good. Edgware Station one end, Camdens Park Station the other. So just easy to step out into the high street. You've got all the shops and the facilities, and then you come back here to all the lovely peace and quiet.
And do you think it's changed over the last few years, or is it still as beautiful
Not
as
really.
before?
It's just the same as before. Yes.
So while everything else seems to be changing, Camdens Drive still seems to be as always.
Yes, we try and preserve it as much as we can, and the Camdens Park Estate Committee, they also look after it to make sure everything's well looked after, the trees are pruned and whatever, so no, it's a lovely place to be.
So thanks for that report. It looks like a beautiful area. I've lived in North London my whole life. I didn't even know it was there.
What's worse, I've worked in Edgware for 15 years and I only discovered it 5 years ago.
A real hidden gem. Next up, we're talking about our area update. So North London as a whole is rich in both its landscape and its community. And on North London TV, every week we're going to be visiting a different area. This week, it's Hemden.
So Hemden's a great area, and over the last few years they've really spent a lot of time and money regenerating the area, especially West Hemden, where they've knocked down some of the old council flats and built the most beautiful development, all based around the waterside there, which most people didn't even realise was there either.
That's it. If you've lived in Hemden a long time, you would have seen the change and seen how it's transformed completely. So Hemden is next to Finchley. It's also smack bang on top of the A406, the North Circular. It's near to the A41.
And it's near your favourite place.
And it's near my favourite place, the shopping centre Brent Cross. So there's lots to do around there. It's home to the Metropolitan Police Training College, and it's also home to Middlesex University. So there's lots of good student vibe around there, but it also attracts families and also, you know, your slightly older generation who are looking to downsize and move into flats.
Obviously the great thing as well with Hemden, with the university, it's the only real large university in the area, which obviously makes it a great area as a rental investment, especially for the larger houses. If you go out and make sure you get your HMO licence and done properly, then it's a really good student-let area as well.
So as Hemden is that little bit further in, what are the kind of typical homes and houses around there?
So it's similar to Finchley and the areas around. You're looking for a 2-bedroom flat, you've got to be starting at 350, 400,000. Then you're looking to work your way up to a 3-bed semi to around about 625, 650. One thing with Hemden is people don't like moving out of Hemden. So what you do find is there are a lot of extended houses where people have gone back into the loft and maybe turned a traditional 3-bed semi into a 5-bedroom house. So when the 3 bedrooms do come onto the market, especially if they've got potential to extend, they get snapped up really quickly.
I mean, that showed you if people are sort of not moving out the area, it must have some sort of pull to keep people staying there for year upon year upon year.
What you have in Hemden is you've got a real big community, and I think people like to stay near their friends and their family, and that's what keeps people in Hemden.
Absolutely. That's it for this week's area update. So that's us almost done for another episode. If you're a local business or a community project in the local area and you want to be more involved in our programme, just contact our production company on the information below.
That's all for us for now, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.